I have been told that I do need to talk about the hot dog eating contest for tomorrow,
Mm.
the one time that gets my attention as far as hot dogs go. And the question is Joey Chestnut, how many hot dogs will he eat? And if you look at his numbers over the past several years, 2016 through 2021, he was eating at least 70 hot dogs or more. And last year, there was a bit of a drop off, only knocking down 63 hot dogs and buns. The number per the betting markets is 73 and a half. And 2/3 of the betting public, they say that he will go under 73 and a half. If you had to pick a side here, J Rod, which side would you choose?
I mean, 14-time champion, Joey Chestnut. That's a lot of hot dogs, and Father Time and digestive systems are undefeated. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I would tend to go with the public. I think, I think for Joey Chestnut, I think he's come to the part of his career now. Listen, he has the record. He set it in 2021 with 76. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to get to 77. Those days are over. So it's a matter of who is going to pace him. The second guy is Jeffrey Esper, and his total is 50 and a half. So all he knows, if he gets into the 60s, it's a win. He's got those 14 titles. He's got the all-time record. I could see him maybe hovering around 70, but I'm going to go under on this one. He's going to win again, but I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm going under as well for a different reason. Age may certainly play a role in this, no doubt about it. And the lack of competition may also play a role. If you're not being pushed that much and you know you already have the record and maybe you're not going to come close to it, then maybe you slow it down just to make sure you can at least finish and finish well. So those two factors I think are important. The biggest factor, though, for me when handicapping this is the weather. The climate, I think, is a big deal because on a hotter day, you tend to sweat a little bit more. And maybe it's a little bit harder to stomach those hot dogs because you just tend to wear out a little bit more. This isn't in a dome, a climate-controlled environment. You are out there in the elements. And so as I look at the weather for tomorrow, I'm seeing 80 degrees, scattered thunderstorms out in Coney Island. And yeah, that's not terribly hot, certainly not hot by our standards, you in Miami, me in LA. But the humidity at 81%, chance of rain of 70%, the humidity, I think, is the biggest factor here. And if the conditions are not pristine for Chestnut to eat as many hot dogs as possible, I think that will slow him down just enough to where he's not going to reach 73. When we're looking at this odds movement, I feel like it is a little on the extreme side because nothing is a guarantee yet. The reports, which I believe are factual and accurate, are that, look, Lillard says this, but it doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen. And we've seen time and time again in the NBA where one player has stated what they would like to do and maybe the team they would like to play for, but it doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes the player loses out on what the wishes might be.
There has to be a third team involved in this. I've even heard the Bulls are in the mix, maybe a Zach LaVine kind of deal. Portland doesn't need anything that the Heat have. So you need somebody else to be involved. And as you know, with one person, you may get two people trying to make a deal. Now you've got three people trying to make a deal, maybe four people. Then it gets convoluted. And the Blazers are in a position right now where, trust me, they don't want Damian Lillard on this team. We saw that they were already taking his picture down from the arena. They were taking the tiles down already. Kind of real subtle stuff what they're doing in Portland. They need to move him because, again, they have 216 million reasons to move him, and there's no spot for him, especially after signing Jeremy Grant. But they are sellers here, and they feel like it's a seller's market for them. And Miami is sort of like, if they don't get Damian Lillard, they're in a mess right now. They're in a serious mess. There's been talk that maybe Zach LaVine is plan B, but Damian Lillard is the big whale here, and it's up to Pat Riley to get him. And we've already seen Pat feeling the heat, if you will, down here to make this trade happen.
James Harden opted into his final year of his deal with the Sixers, which means that in all likelihood he is going to be traded. There are odds out there that you can bet on as far as James Harden's next team. And right now, the odds on favorite is the LA Clippers at minus 200. Now, this makes a lot of sense in that it does seem like with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, that this championship window that the Clippers created, it may be closing after next season. And so perhaps this is kind of an all-in mentality for the Clippers, where they can get one more shooter, one more assist guy, which is really, really important. If, say, you've got your star players healthy, that matters a great deal, so that you're not just playing a ton of ISO ball. But it does suggest that the Clippers are kind of in this win now motif, and that may be fine for them. But at the same time, this is never a market, J-Rod, that I like to bet into, because even though reports may skew in one particular direction, there's really no quantifiable way to say, okay, well, the Clippers have an 80% chance of getting James Harden, or there's a 75% chance, and here's the data I have to back this up. It's not that simple. And yes, you've got other teams here that also would make a lot of sense as far as key fits. And there are also many prognosticators and pundits out there suggesting, hey, James Harden would be a good fit for, say, the Knicks at 6-1, the Heat at 7-1. Maybe if the Dame Lillard thing doesn't work out, maybe Miami goes after James Harden and sort of forces Heat culture upon him. That will be interesting to see if it works out that way. But I definitely do believe that, say, among the quasi-favorites, Clippers, maybe he returns to the Sixers, or Knicks, Heat, something like that, probably it's going to be one of those 4 or 5 teams that's already been bandied about. Herman, his last 2 starts prior to his perfect game were not good. He gave up a lot of earned runs in just a few innings in both starts. And then he had that perfect game. Yes, it was against the A's, but the A's are still a Major League Baseball team, and so it's still an impressive perfect game. And he did it in less than 100 pitches. My question, though, is that an obvious place for regression to the mean? Because I think that the poor starts are more indicative of what to expect from him than, say, the perfect game was. I don't think exhaustion is a factor here because he was quite efficient in his perfect game, but I do wonder if natural regression is just going to happen, especially against Baltimore. And if that's the case, then there may be some great value backing the O's here.